fog settles in silence. A small island draped in mist, its paths narrow, its world contained. Shadows drift through the haze, waiting. At first it feels daunting, but step closer and the mystery unravels. This is Brume. The challenge here is moderate. At first, the difficulty lies in deciphering enemy patterns. A slash, a lunge, a pause meant to bait you. Some foes demand patience, waiting for the opening. Others pressure with aggression, forcing a quick response. The first encounters feel uncertain, almost like sparring blind. But once the patterns are understood, the edge dulls quickly. Enemies fall into rhythm, and fights collapse before tension has time to build. Bosses, if they can be called that, do not stand apart. They are more like hardened versions of their lesser kin, defined by larger health bars and the endurance of repetition. There are no towering jewels, no encounters that stamp themselves into memory. Instead, each one feels like a test of patience, a reminder to play carefully, choose the right weapon for the right enemy, and wait for the gaps. Defeating them rarely stirs triumph. More often, it feels like the quiet relief of a puzzle solved, the rhythm finally understood. Combat itself is serviceable, neither clunky nor refined. Every tool is available from the beginning, and success depends less on progression than on awareness. Some attacks must be dodged, others must be blocked. Be too aggressive, and an enemy crushes you in an instant. Be too passive, and their steady strikes chip away until patience runs thin. The game becomes less of a brawl and more of a dance, a back and forth, attack and retreat, until one side finally yields. Weapons are chosen with purpose. Some enemies crumble against one tool, while another resists until you adapt. The game never hides this truth. It asks you to experiment, to find which option breaks a particular defense. Success is not about mastering a single style, but about understanding what the island demands in the moment. That rhythm works because the game never frustrates. Patience rewards, recklessness punishes. Once you accept that cadence, the island becomes less a gauntlet and more an exercise in discipline. Brume is not about overwhelming you. It is about teaching restraint. The world itself is extremely small. It is an island draped in fog, its areas connected in simple progression, each space leading into the next. There are no grand shortcuts to uncover, no sprawling networks to memorize. Yet within that narrow scope, the atmosphere lingers. The mist feels heavy. The silence carries weight. Every shoreline and clearing is bathed in haze. Every shadow feels uncertain, until you step closer. Despite its limited size, the world succeeds in immersion. The fog disguises its simplicity, cloaking each step in mystery. The story is sparse, told more in implication than in explanation. Its outline is simple and easy to follow. There is no deep lore to unravel, no elaborate histories to piece together. Yet that simplicity fits the world. Too much detail would break the illusion. The vagueness mirrors the fog itself, enough to guide you forward, but never enough to fully clear the haze. Visually, Brume strikes an odd balance. The art direction, on first glance, appears stiff, almost unsettling. But in play, the strangeness fades. The fog softens edges, the muted tones merge into atmosphere. It is not beautiful in the traditional sense, but it is consistent. Animations can feel rigid, yet in motion they serve their purpose. The visuals do not elevate the experience, but they never fracture it either. Brume is short. Its length is measured in a single sitting, about an hour. It does not ask for commitment, nor does it offer reasons to linger. But brevity becomes its own strength. It is the kind of game you play between heavier journeys, a cleanser after something brutal, or a brief distraction when time is thin. It does not pretend to be more. But brevity also sets its limits. There is little variety in enemies. The bosses blur together. The combat rarely evolves beyond its opening simplicity. Once you've seen the patterns, the rest becomes repetition. The game lacks depth, and for many, that will mean it leaves little behind once the mist clears. Yet, within its modest scope, it never falters. It knows what it wants to be, a small, focused experiment in Souls-inspired design, drawn in fog and restraint. Some will find charm in that restraint, in the haunting mood, the deliberate jewels, the way the mist itself becomes the stage. Others will find too little to hold on to, the sparseness leaving them cold once the novelty fades. The stiffness of movement, the simplicity of its systems, the absence of standout encounters keep Brume from climbing higher. For me, it lands in C tier. Not a failure, not a standout. A Souls-inspired vignette, capturing echoes of the genre without the weight of its depth. If you want a brief diversion, a short indie title that borrows the rhythm of Souls but refuses the burden of excess, Brume is worth a glance. What lingers is not triumph or despair. It is patience, the give and take of its simple jewels, the quiet immersion of mist, the stillness of an island that knows exactly what it is, even if it never reaches beyond.